Welcome to the Friendly Algorithm. My name's Kathy Olson. I have about 23 years experience in cybersecurity software development. This video I put on the shelf, been meaning to create some content. It's kind of a goal at the beginning of the year, and it's kind of sat there. I tried to film in my office and it was just so stiff. It kind of felt boring, so I'm trying to film while I walk, and I feel a little awkward, but I feel like it's just a natural way for me to just talk, like I'm talking to a friend while I'm walking. You have to understand how large language models work, how they were trained, and that understanding will help you create better prompts and get better outcomes. The main difference, like in software today, you have data structures. You think of just like a table, columns, rows, and then there's relations. You know, the logic builds relationships between those rows and columns and data, and then this logic says to do something with that data, and it's highly predictable. It's like Boolean. It's ones and zeros. It's either true or false. And if you're a software engineer, you can figure out, okay, what went wrong. I can reproduce this outcome. I can figure out what was, some kind of bug or error. You can figure it out. With a large language model, imagine like a sphere full of data. And I know it's a little bit out there, but it actually is how it works. There's just this circle of data, tons and tons of data. The AI models were trained using as much data as they could get their hands on. There's some ethical questions on what data they use to train their models, but essentially they train their models with hordes of data, and they are trained kind of like when you search in Google. There's the auto fill. I'll pause here. There's some walkers coming. Totally not walking in my neighborhood because I feel awkward. I'll get over it. Okay, so when you search in Google, there's an autocomplete. So we've had algorithms before. There's a predictive algorithm in your social media. There's a predictive algorithm in search engines. With large language models, there's still just that predictive. I'm trying to predict the next word. Good example of this is if you're going to fill in the text, peanut butter and what's the next word? The highest probability is jelly. You could have peanut butter and jam. You could have peanut butter and chocolate, but peanut butter and turkey, that's like very unlikely to happen. But that's essentially how large language models work. There's a predictive model of what, based on everything you've given me, this is the next most likely word that I want to place, almost like a really complex autocomplete. Now, it's good to understand this because it helps give you context when you are in a conversation and there's kind of a response and it's decent, like it's 80%, and then you're going back and forth. And then it's just like, it goes off the rails. You're like, no, this. It's all predictive. Like, there's something happened with the chain of whatever you prompted, or whatever the LLM had an assumption that maybe it's not speaking to, and it is not going where you want it to go. And so you're just kind of wasting time iterating. How do you solve the problem? Because I think we could all search on Google. There's a lot of good content. Everything's indexed. You can find it. But if you're going to give a problem to AI, how do you more accurately solve your problem? So I'm going to walk you through the craft framework and why it's important. Most of all, stay to the end. I have a GPT I created that will help you create a craft prompt in a matter of minutes, maybe seconds. So I'm going to explain the craft just so you understand, because this will help you even if you use my GPT that creates it, you'll want to know why we're providing all of this to the LLM, so that when it generates the prompt, you could review it and make sure it looks right. So C, context. You imagine this big pool of data, this big circle of data, and you're trying to get to this very precise outcome. It's jagged, spiky, very unique shape. If you had to draw it out in a shape, like this is the outcome I'm trying to get to this. If you provide a generic prompt, like create a meal plan for my family, it's just gonna, the model, you have no idea, like you don't have a lot of control of how the model will predict a response. And it's gonna be generic. It might not fit your needs. I think for just quick research, quick questions, it can work. But if you're trying to solve this very specific problem, you need to provide context. So what is context? It's background information. So for this use case, I'd upload a document that lists all of my family's likes and dislikes, constraints. I have more time to cook on Sundays. That could be a meal prep day. I have less time to cook Mondays and Thursdays. You could provide constraints around ingredients. You could provide, these are the things that I have on hand. I'd like to use them. You think like from the first prompt, make me a meal plan for 5 days for a family of 6. That sounds like, and it'll come up with something. So if you compare the first prompt, make a meal plan for a family of 6 for 5 days, how does it know what to do? Do you want lunch? Do you want breakfast? Compared to just providing the context. The context could be some goals that you have, whether your goals are saving time, saving money, some health goals, like if you're trying to reach some protein, all context. So even if you don't use the full craft format, that is like a shortcut, you could just provide a lot of context. And I always, in all my prompts, I always add, depending on how much time I want to take, ask me follow-up questions to get to 95% confidence. Because again, we're just dealing in probabilities. And the AI model is trained to feel confident. It's going to, especially ChatGPT, highly confident, highly, this is what it is, this is what it is. I'm here to make sure I get a positive result, but sometimes that bias towards solving a problem and like positivity, you don't get what you want. The R is role. I've heard the analogy before that you have to treat an LLM like an intern. Someone that's just highly eager, willing to work, willing to just dig in, solve the problem. But you have to give the intern that role, some instructions, and that's the role. Act as and like I said, you might have different goals. Act as a nutritionist, act as a dietitian, act as a meal plan specialist who focuses on moms who work part-time. You can just create any kind of role and you can just make anything up. And maybe even add years of experience. That's their role. And so you have C, context, R, role, A, action. Like, what do you actually want them to do? I want you to create, as we get very specific, I want a 2-week meal plan, or I want just dinners. Lunch and breakfast are fine. Or I want a 4-week meal plan. And just you can be very precise on the action you want the large language model to take. Now, F, format. It's just gonna create whatever, spit it out, put it in a list, put it in a table. You might have a very unique need. I think I want a table, or I want to put in Excel. Like, what are you gonna do with it? I think when I think of format, it's like, I'm gonna take this output, what am I gonna do with it next? What will save me steps? Because always the LLM will say, do you want me to put it in a Word doc? Do you want me to put it in a PDF? You might just want to see it first, go back and forth, and then put in an Excel document or put in a table that could go into an Excel. That's your format. Tone. So you can provide tone of the language that it will create. For something like this, the tone doesn't matter as much, but if you're using it for email or some kind of communication, you could spend more time on tone. I will do another video on how to get a large language model to sound like you. I have to do the work. I have to figure this out. So there you go, craft. The fun thing is I created a GPT that helps you generate a craft prompt that's very specific, cut to kind of a screen share, and show you how that works.
Okay, I'm going to walk you through this prompt that can help. It can help you get better results and save you a lot of time. So I saw a prompt that I liked online and I ended up creating a GPT around it. So this is the link. You'll have the link to this, but this GPT helps create a well-crafted prompt because we talked about, and then this PDF will come with it. The well-crafted prompt is you have context, you have a role, you have action, the format, tone, or target audience. Like to do all that, you might say like, oh, I may as well just like do the work myself. Why am I even involving AI? But this helps you take just a couple sentences. So this is around a meal plan. I could just copy and paste this from the PDF. And then this is the prompt that it created. And so then you could go back and forth. Context, it's to set the stage. So this is where you would have attachments, references, anything that can help define and have a higher probability of success for the output. And then we talked about role. Here it's nutrition science, it's a dietitian, building flexible, repeatable systems. So this is a role, and you can adjust this. If this doesn't look right, you can change it. You're like, no, I really want them. I want this focus. Like I want this person or this type of expertise. And then the action is, what do you want it to do? You could put some assumptions here or have it spell out their assumptions, but quite a few actions for a meal plan. And then format. How do you actually want this? Do you want a table? Do you want a list? This is what it came up with, that this is the format to use. And if you don't like what it came up with, change it. And then it added this additional requirements. And maybe you like that, maybe you don't. And a target audience. And then you can have this fill-in section. So if I don't have this document ready of my family's likes and dislikes, it created this. So then you would paste this whole thing into ChatGPT. You could use Claude, anything that you want, and it's a well-constructed prompt. Try it out. Let me know how it works. Would love the feedback. And just remember, as I close out, anyway, give it a try. Hopefully it saves you time.
So just as a recap, you understand how large language models work. They work in probabilities, not in just logic. And that affects a lot of things in how you approach AI. 2, walked you through the craft framework that will help you understand how to build better prompts, have better outcomes with anytime you're working with a large language model. And then 3, shared the GPT, the link is below. Post questions. Let me know if this was helpful. I could do another deep dive of just kind of a use case of this. And my tagline, consume less, create more. Let's let AI help us just enhance what we're able to put out there to the world. Bye. Totally not walking in my neighborhood because I feel awkward. I'll get over it. Okay, just testing to see if